And we're back in, this time, Port Orchard, Washington, heading into the Goodwill, and as you can tell, I'm carrying something. That's never a good sign, because that means I'm returning something that I bought that I thought was going to be great. So come with me, let's see if we can find something to replace this dud, and buy it and flip it for great profit. If you like this kind of content, please consider liking this video, and please consider subscribing if you haven't. That really helps out. So it's a green tag day. I think this is a Thursday. So Thursdays are 30% off some color. And Thursday is my new day. This is the day I go to this Goodwill now. Unless for some reason I can't, or I'm already there at a different day. So we're going to march down right into the toy and game and puzzle aisle. And this is my usual scan. If you've seen this channel before, you know that I scan through board games. Now I feel like I've probably overdone it on board games, so I'm becoming very picky on what I do pick up. It's got to be great, and I could probably scan that from here and tell you that that's probably not going to be great. I don't know why I didn't scan it and why I put it in the cart, because I don't think I bought that. Sometimes there's just little things up on the top shelf, so you really kind of got to scope it out. I kind of look at anything that is sealed to begin with, and then look for anything that that looks like a vintage game or a strategy, war strategy, military strategy game. I've been doing so well with the magazines that finding the games, similar type games, you'll see them from like Avalon Hill, some other makers that kind of sell that kind of game. Yeah, you almost got to build up a memory chart in your mind of what the company symbols look like. So now, if you've been watching, this is where all the plastic hangers used to be. So now we've got bag toys here, all down this section, much more than they used to have. Now that doesn't mean they're better. I've done okay with these guys, but only when I've gotten the big ones. I don't know if I've ever sold any of the little ones, and you kind of gotta give them a quick a check of their feet. I think is really the best way to decide if they're worth picking up. I think all those just said China on the bottom. And I throw those in the cart. I don't end up buying them, but I look for Schleich or Papo figures like that, animals. And usually I start off kind of my Venn diagram. If it's heavy, start with heavy. If it's heavy and looks to be well made and cool looking, then you pick it up. I think those ended up being Safari or just plain old China. They kind of came out. I noticed a lot of ones that really feel like Schleich, like those Schleich horses there. They ended up just being made in China horses, but they're making them much more like Schleich. So here's a Air Hogs F-16 Fighting Falcon, and it's new in the box. Now I end up buying this, but I'm really not sure I should have. I paid $13 for it. It's brand new. Coincidentally, I just sold another Air Hogs that I had for a little while that I'd bought in the same store, and it seems like whenever I get Air Hogs, I only buy them brand new, but whenever I get them, they sit for a long time and then they finally sell. And by the time they sell, it's about the time I get another one. So the timing was good here. I had sold off a Boeing rocket Air Hog, and then right after that bought the last one that I just sold. I'll show you a picture of that one. That was actually a pretty good sale. There's a tote of Beanie Babies, practically a tote of gold. If you're familiar with this store, either from being there or through my videos, you know that I, for the most part, walk the walls, stay out of the clothes, don't go in the shoes, stay over here, sports, toys, electronics, cookware. So that's a Korg guitar tuner, kind of a nice one. I end up picking that up. I have not sold that, but I think it's pretty good. I only paid, I think, $10 for it. And this is something that I was so happy to find, because if you've been following me, you've heard me talk about these stupid Samsung One Connect boxes and finding them right there on that shelf. And there was one with the cable, the hard to find cables that are an oddball cable. Now, I think the prices of those have come down, because I think I've sold every one for $200 or more. I think the prices have dropped. I'll show you some comps. But there's actually there's an addition coming for that item. There's a Niles speaker selector, 4-speaker selector, I think it was. You saw recently where I bought what I thought was like a Niles, but it was a knockoff Niles, and probably overpaid for it. Niles is a great brand. I did not end up buying that. Just the condition wasn't great, and the comps really weren't great for the smaller speaker selector. I would use it here, but I already have one for my testing table. I do pick that up. That's a nice find. I probably paid $10 for it. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I paid $10 for that. I can't see the price, but I'm looking at my sheet. It didn't have the back battery cover, but that's fine. But I have a Halo Reach Xbox 360. I think I have one other controller, so I'll put that in with the setup to add value. $10, you're going to add more than $10 in value. But I'll show you a comp just for the controller. I look in those bags they're normally HDMI, but you never know when you'll find a Samsung One Connect cable, because they look very similar. Looking in here for anything obvious. I found some great wireless Microsoft mice there, because they just hang them there because it looks like a wired mouse, but they're actually wireless with the charging cord. I kind of shy away from that stuff. I've sold some of those headsets, but man, they're tough to get anywhere with them, and so we don't buy those anymore. In here, I'm looking for Wiimote motion adapters. They tend to throw them in there. Usually they price them at $2, but sometimes less. And I come down here and I'm looking at remotes. Look at this number of buttons on that remote. We had our first color TV that I remember had a huge remote. It was RCA. It had a huge remote with probably 50 or 60 buttons on it. I don't even know what all the buttons were for, because we only had 3 channels, so who knows. I would have a hard time if I had that, because I would lose it all the time. It's a wireless Bluetooth speaker. Not something I'm going to buy, but I thought it was kind of funny. I don't know what that one, another speaker of some sort. Those speakers from a distance, they look really good, but when you looked at them up close, they were not great. They might have been worth something, but condition is king. You just don't pick up stuff in bad condition. There are some of those little computer speaker sets that are pretty good. I tend to try to find those on Mondays, but since I'm staying away from Mondays at this Goodwill, I won't be getting them for $2. I spotted something in this cart, so I'm headed there. You're going to see me grab it.
How are you doing?
In just a second. again, trying not to get in the way. I could see the gray color. I knew that was a Rock Band 4 guitar. I wasn't sure if it was PS4 or Xbox One, but it's Xbox One, Jaguar, Fender. Now those prices have come down too, sadly. I may just hold on to that for a while because I think those will come back up. I was selling those for about $180 with a game, and now they're much lower than that. So I came back to the remotes because I wanted to see if there were any remotes that went to some of the stuff that I recently got. I've been getting Blu-ray players, and this remote popped up. It's a white Samsung remote, and it was I was curious because it looks exactly like the remote for my TV that's right here in front of me. The same remote, but white, and I've never seen one of those white remotes. So super curious about it. I want to scan through all these. It's going to take a lot for me to buy a remote here because they are, unless it's a green tag, they're going to be $5 a piece. I'll go down to my St. Vincent de Paul and get them for $1 a piece, rather than try to sort through these and buy a bunch at $5. If they were the right remote for my Blu-ray players, I might consider it, but not for anything else. It would have to be a super win. And all of those were not super wins, so back they go. I dislike this little bin they're in too. Makes it so hard to look at them when you have to pull them out of this thing. So I'm going to look at this thing because it's got me so curious on what it actually goes to. It's literally the same looking remote as my TV, just white. So I'm trying to figure it out, but do I want to spend $5 on it? Do I want to spend $5 on it? And the kicker for me was I could not get the back of that thing open. I could feel it was heavy enough. I could tell it had batteries, and the remotes I was seeing are like my other Samsung remote that has a solar panel on the back, so it just charges by, flip it over and let it sit out for a while. But not being able to get it open really made me not want to buy it. I couldn't find a model number because I couldn't get the back open. So we tossed it. Get it out of here. Now I will tell you that I actually went back the next day and got it, because I noticed that people were selling that remote with the Samsung One Connect box. So for $5 I added it to that listing and to increase the value. We haven't sold it yet. I wasn't sure what those were, but they look like the Treasure X figures, but big. I ended up throwing it back. We were laughing about having to buy stuff every time we go in the store. That's a nice lady. Her and her husband are in there all the time, and
I know.
so we're constantly looking for stuff for each other. Just doing a scan, toy scan, any toys. I look in there for anything that is from a park. Like sometimes you'll find stuff from SeaWorld or Disney. I've got a bunch of orcas from SeaWorld that I think at some point I'm going to sell. I got a giant one that has the tag. So if you're looking for a SeaWorld orca plush, stuffed animal, let me know. So I think you saw me recently. I bought a Barney here, and we sold that one pretty quickly. This was a bigger Barney, but not quite as old. The one I sold was from 92. I think this one was from maybe early 2000s. He took a ride with us for a while, but he ended up jumping back into the bin. I really thought about getting that, and then eventually I think I did end up getting that. This was a comical character. I finally found the tag and it just said religious figure. So once I found the knuckles, and there's something in there, and turns out it's a motor, it's a shake me. So for what I paid, I couldn't really make any money selling these. I think I paid $8 a piece, but I ended up grabbing the Sonic to go with the knuckles. So they're here in the apartment with me, hanging out on the shelf. I don't know what that was. So this Blue's Clues, I'm pretty sure was old, but the tag has been chewed off and torn and cut. No way to tell. So once we figured out he was also a shake me, I didn't know what he was. I figured it out later, but I thought it was pretty cool. Just looking for anything that looks like it might be vintage or valuable, or both. There is so much stuff that you could just dig through. So one thing I've been on the look for is one of those lifelike dolls. And this one I thought met the criteria, but it just wasn't. But man, it was a little bit creepy, to be honest. So I tossed her back up into the bin too. There's a Monster High car, but I have a brand new one of those to sell, so I don't need a used one. Is that creepy or what? Let me know if you've sold any of those lifelike dolls. That one just wasn't one. It sure looked like it, but I think they actually feel like they're an actual baby. I think they have the same weight and kind of movement to them. This is the aisle that bugs me the most, because there's no way you can barely get a cart in there, and so you kind of have to do a kind of a King of the Jungle thing and move people out of there if you want to get in there. So that's what I did. I looked real quick to see if there's any 3D Blu-rays. The media prices here are okay. I think they're $3.99 for Blu-rays, which I think is acceptable. My store in my town, they're like $6 to $8. Unacceptable. There's a new stash of records, and some of them are priced ridiculously, of course, but the rest of them are 99 cents, which is what they should be priced, because I can almost guarantee you that Kenny Rogers' record is scratched to heck, and that they probably wanted $6 for it. Which I guess really isn't too bad, considering my Goodwill charges $5 no matter what the condition. I was kind of thinking about getting that Paul Simon record, but they wanted too much for it. If it was 99 cents, I would have grabbed it for sure. This is where they keep kind of the animated movies, which that's where I occasionally will find some anime movies, but not today. Barney's still taking a ride. So we're going to hit the cooking aisle. I've been doing pretty well in this section. So it's not a Monday $1.99 day, but I think Thursday seems to be the day that the real good restocking happens, because I've found some good stuff on Thursdays here. Now you got to pay up for it, but it's still worth it. Hoping to find some Salad Master. That was a Cuisinart coffee, not a grinder, a cutter. You know, just has the spinning blade inside of it. But I think you're going to see on the bottom shelf the nice Cuisinart burr grinder. It's the same one we use. We've bought several of them over the years. It's the best one we've ever had. And so I always look for them in case ours finally dies. But I already have a backup, so we're good. I look for those little waffle cookers, especially those double-sided ones. That one just wasn't a good brand. But I've sold several of those Waring Pro double waffle flippers. Thought about getting that Pittsburgh Pirate little cooker there, but I just didn't want to deal with it. I probably could have given that to my brother-in-law, though. He would have taken that. He's a super Pittsburgh fan. There's that Cuisinart burr coffee grinder. Those are excellent. If you're looking for a coffee grinder that actually grinds coffee, get that one. So here's a guy, I call him the spectator because he's looking on one shelf but blocking the other shelf. So I can't get through. Kind of want to get through so I can look at the stuff I want to look at, but we're going to give him a shot. I'll look at this stuff. I do find some good stuff in here as soon as I can. And I'm looking for cookware that looks important. And by important, I mean looks heavy duty, looks well made. And I see some stuff in there, so as soon as I picked that up, I could tell it was probably going to be worth it. And that's a West Bend, let's see, what was I'm trying to remember what the actual name of that stuff was. Kitchen Craft cookware. Now, that's not like Salad Master, hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but it's really nice. That heavy type of solid cookware. And here's another piece of it. So I got 3. Oh, I thought that was. Maybe I found it somewhere else. Oh, here it is. Found the other set here. These have those vent lids. It has a vent lid. That's always worth checking out. So now I've got a conundrum because I've got no room for this. So I'm gonna have to resort the cart so I can get everything in here. And that's gonna force me to have to sort through the cart and decide what I'm going to buy. These were pretty cheap. I think I paid $20 for all of those altogether. I think I'm going to untape it here so you can maybe see the lid here. That's the kind of lid you're seeing. It says Kitchen Craft on it. Let me know, would you have bought all that for 20 bucks? I have not listed that. I'm behind. Okay, so here's something I need help with. When you find stuff like that, like I really thought that was probably a good headrest for a car. It's almost impossible to figure out what car they go to. Does anyone have a mechanism for sorting out? And Google Lens isn't going to give you a million things that look sort of like that. So it was no help. I ended up putting those back. They were like $5 or $6 a piece, and there was those 2 beige ones, and I think there was 3 or 4 black ones, but all really nice leather, nice condition, and I just could not come up with what it was. Nope. A bunch of things that look sort of like it is what Google Lens gives you. There's a black one. There's another black one behind there. Really wanted to make that work because that's the like a poster child of RBF. It's the boring stuff. How many people looked at that and walked past it? Hey, there's the printer I returned the other day. It doesn't work. Oh well. Buyer be warned. Looking for tools, looking for a bag of snap-on tools.
One last time.
Sorry.
I probably
just getting in your way.
normally would pick up because I think
Nah,
the
I'm just in
sell-through
every
was
aisle,
good
so.
enough, and yeah, it wasn't too expensive. I just have a lot of stuff, so I put it back on the shelf. That's just a in-wall cadet heater thermostat. They were probably worth about $20 or so. But they, sell-through rate's pretty good on those. I'm overloaded on stuff. So we're trying to resist as much as possible buying stuff that is too far away from a times 10 sale. And you're thinking, but you just showed us a whole bunch of stuff in your cart that is definitely not a times 10 sale. And you're right. I'm going to put back a bunch of that stuff. But hopefully the other stuff makes up for it. I only came down here because I'm going to discharge Barney from the Goodwill Army. And we're just going to do a final check of the walls here. There's some weird doll shoes or something. I thought it was strange. There's a whole bag of Pokemon things with a Pokeball. I don't think those are worth much. Where can we go? Where can we go to get out of here? Still trying to figure out how you tell when a wiffle bat is worth buying. I know there's a whole website about it, but I can't keep all that. See you, Barney. Can't keep all that in my tool bag. It's too much. I know there's a wiffle bat out there worth hundreds, but I don't think that one was it. Some kind of weird R2-D2 ball. Who comes up with toys like that? And we're back after a rare double Goodwill trip today. I only filmed in the first portion, so everything on the left here we got in that first portion that you saw, and then everything over here we got on the second unfilmed portion. My battery just died, so let's go through the good stuff that we got, and then I'll show you the stuff you didn't see. So back here is a Airhogs RC. This is a F-16 Falcon. I couldn't find any comps. Paid $13. It's brand new in the box. So I've sold these before. I think this will be a good flip. And then right in front here, I could not pass these up. These are the shaking Knuckles and Sonic. Nice condition. I think I paid $8 a piece for those. So those probably will just hang out in the apartment, but I'm sure I could also flip them for a profit, but we're going to probably hang on to those for now, at least. And then let me move these guys out of the way. And then underneath the Airhog, actually I'll do this guitar first. I saw this come out on a cart, and I saw the gray. I've sold these before. This one is the Xbox One Rock Band 4 guitar. These are awesome sales. Now I think everything is good on this. My only concern is I got to make sure this whammy bar works. It does. It feels normal.
Looks good. These have a great sell-through rate. Now, the first time I got one of these, same Goodwill. This is the third time I've gotten one of these at that Goodwill. This one was $10, and it looks complete. Got the strap and everything. The first time I got one, I had to buy the software, installed it on our Xbox, and then I stupidly sold the game with the guitar. I think I sold it for $220 at the time. And I'm pretty sure I only paid $8 for that guitar. And then I got another guitar, but I had installed the game on my Xbox, but my son deleted it, not realizing I needed the game. So I bought the game again, and then this time I kept the game. So I've still got the game. I'll be able to install it and then test this guitar. I also have one of these guitars for PlayStation 4, and I got the game for it, so I've got to install that to test that one. But these are great sellers. A lot of these guitars look the same, but if you look on the back, you'll see for this one, Xbox One, and it's Rock Band 4 guitar. I'm going to set it down here. So part of that pickup also included this cookware, which sometimes you just pick up cookware and you just know it's good just by the weight. And this cookware is, let's see if I can show you the side here. This is, probably can't even see that, but it's Kitchen Craft from West Bend. Super heavy, really heavy stuff. So I got the top pan, which is also a pan and lid, and then the bottom pan, and then this one is the pot and lid. So this one actually has the lid handle. Really nice condition. This one down here was $8. This was $5.99 and $5.99. I'll have to really sort out the comps on these because I wasn't sure on the sizes, but I still do pretty well with those. So that's pretty cheap for my Goodwill to sell cookware like that. Normally that's a little bit higher priced. And then I picked up this was picked up right away. This is a Korg, basically a tuner. And most of the times you see these and they're just small. This one struck me because it had an analog meter, so I thought it might be worth more. And I paid $10 for it, but I think I can probably triple my money on this, assuming it works. So we'll give it a test out. And then I never pass up, unless they're crazy priced, I never pass up these special edition controllers. This one's, gosh, I can't remember. I know I've got another one of these. I don't remember what game this is. Halo something. No battery back, but you can get those. So not too worried about that. And otherwise, the condition looks okay. I paid $10 for that. And then finally, after several videos of me talking about finding these on the shelf, I finally found one and recorded it. That little section of the shelving where they put junk like this that doesn't look valuable at all. But this is a Samsung One Connect box for certain Samsung TVs. And I haven't seen this one before. There's a bunch of different versions of this, but what's nice is this also came with the cable, so this would plug into your TV, and of course it's a weird connection. So you got to have that cable and this box to get these connections from your TV. Otherwise, you got no connections. So these are very desirable and very valuable. I'll probably get $200 for this because I always get $200 for these things when I sell them. So awesome find there. So let's make some room here. So then I had some other stuff I was doing and came back to the store to see if anything changed. Now today is a Thursday, which I don't normally go to Goodwill on Thursday, this Goodwill, but I needed to return this Lego Mindstorms set that I recently got, and I returned it because it's one of the older ones, and you really need the software for those, and they don't make the software available, and the software was not in the box. So I went ahead and returned it. It was $20. Just wasn't worth it for me to deal with without the software. But I'm sure someone will buy it anyway. So anyway, I had to return that. So that's why I went to Goodwill in the first place. And then I went the second time because I had some other business in town. And a couple hours later, was able to go back and check the aisles to see what else had come out. And I got some great stuff. So right off the bat, this is a Folkmanis puppet. And I've gotten a couple of different Folkmanis puppets and done well with them. I hadn't seen this one before. This was $8. Not a ton, you're not going to see a ton of comps, but the comp on this one was about $85. I don't expect to get $85 for this, but at $8, I got a lot of room to work with for the Blue Monster. So pretty cool. And then let me know what you think about stuff like this. I'm always curious how people feel when there's something that they could resell for a lot of money, but there's some kind of cultural issue related. I've got a bunch of Shamu stuff that I just decided not to even try and sell anymore. But this is obviously the General Lee from the TV show Dukes of Hazzard. My mom, when we used to watch that show when I was a kid, and my mom called it the Pukes of Hazzard. She called it Bo and Luke Puke. But this is basically you put batteries in it, push these buttons, and it makes sounds and lights, I believe. I paid $6 for this. I honestly think I'm going to get about $100 for this. And so let me know, does your opinion on things like this, is it a complete no, or is it it depends? Now this is from a TV show, not a historical situation, but I understand the issues on both sides of that argument. This is a 2008, so not super old. And then, so back here, a couple things. I bought this, probably not going to sell it, but probably will put it in my stack of stuff. I paid $10 for it. This is the Paul Stanley's figure from Kiss. And then I was on the fence about this as well because of the box condition. It's just got a little bit of wear on the box. But this is a Bigos version, Series 4 doll. I don't think it looks like it's still sealed, so I don't think it's ever been out. I paid $13 for it, so I should at least be able to triple my money on that, though, even with the slight box condition. And then I could not pass this up. I bought several of these, and if you don't know, when my granddaughter was born, she was very tiny for the first month or two, and someone in our family decided she looked a little bit like Dobby, and so we've gotten several Dobbies. This is the first time I found one new in the box with the sock. We've never found the sock before, but there it is. So we're going to probably keep that one too. And then the last item, this was right on the shelf amongst other people standing around, but I used to pass these up because they just, like, who would want an older digital camera? But these have really good value, and if you notice, a lot of the stuff was never, like this stuff was never used. The camera itself looks pretty good. And it does have a battery, so we'll have to see if that battery works. And this camera is so old it takes compact flash, which I have a bunch of those just for this reason. So we'll get this working, and I should probably get about $50 to $60, maybe $70 for this. And what did I pay? I paid $15. So in the box, might even get more. So it was a good second trip in to my Goodwill.